Welcome to EDU World Space.
Our three given vectors are A, B, and C. This is our x-axis and this our y-axis. Now A looks like this and it is 8 meters in length. B is at an angle of 30 degrees with the y-axis and has a length of 15 meters. And C has a length of 12 meters and has an angle of 25 degrees. Let us first write down A, B, and C in their vector forms. Now because vector A is completely in y direction, it is downwards and has 8 meters length, it is obvious that vector A is minus 8 j cap. Of course, the units are in meters. We can actually write this as minus 8 meters j cap, but we'll omit this meters from now on. Now, vector B, as we know from components, would be, because it makes an angle of 60 degrees with the x-axis, it would be 15 cos 60 I cap plus 15 sine 60 j cap. Now, if we plug this into a calculator, we'll see that this is 7.5 I cap plus 13 j cap. Now, when it comes to C, we can see that it is in the third quadrant and hence both its x component and y component are negative. As you can see, its x component is towards negative x and y component is towards negative y, which is downwards. Now, because we know this angle 25 degrees, we can find the length of the y component and the x component in a similar fashion as vector B. Now, vector C would be 12 cos 25. Now, 12 cos 25 would be the x component, hence I cap. But we know that 12 cos 25 is a positive number and this component is negative, hence we put a minus here. Similarly, with the y component, we know that the component is 12 sine 25 and it's a y component, so j cap. But this is a positive number and we know that the component is negative and hence we write a minus. Now this turns out to be minus 10.88 I cap minus 5.07 j cap. Now, let's get to the problem. We want to find A dot B. We know that A dot B is AX BX plus AY BY. Now we know that because A has only a j component, its I component is 0, the x component. The A can be written as 0 into I cap minus 8 j cap. Hence AX is 0, so that's 0 multiplied by BX is 7.5 plus AY is minus 8 and BY is 13. By plugging this into a calculator, we can see this is minus 104 meters squared. Notice that I have put the units back in here. The x components would be 7.5 meter and 0 meter, and these would be minus 8 meter and 13 meter. That's why the units are meter squared. Now, let's get to the next part, which is B dot C. Now, this would be BX CX plus BY CY. This is pretty straightforward. We know BX is 7.5 meters multiplied by CX is minus 10.88 meters. Now, BY is 13 meters multiplied by CY is minus 5.07 meters. By plugging this into a calculator, we can see that this is minus 147.5 meters square. you can see that vectors B and C, this is our vector B, and this is our vector C. You can see that vectors B and C have an obtuse angle between them, and that is why the dot product is negative, whereas vectors A and C have an acute angle between them, and that is why, I'm sorry, vectors A and B have an obtuse angle between them, and that is why their dot product is negative. Now, when we do A dot C, because the angle between them is acute, we would expect a positive dot product. Let's see if that is true. Part C is A dot C. We know that this is AXCX plus AYCY. Again, AX is 0 meters, CX is minus 10.88 meters, and AY is minus 8 meters, and CY is minus 5.07 meters. By plugging this into a calculator, you can see this is 40.6 meters square, which is positive.